Hello, everyone. I'm Deni. If somebody doesn't know, basically, the idea that we wanted to explore with our experiment was: can AI actually help for leveraging AI across the development cycle through all the phases of SDLC? And we tried like as many as possible with the short time we had. We started as a first team that were exploring LLMs. We tried to see what we can do to get the idea, to create the whole application, create the infrastructure, everything just by leveraging AI tools to see, like, are they helping? Is it downsides, bad sides, good sides, etc. So basically, we wanted to go through all the phases. Like first on this today's presentation, want to basically talk about the goals of the whole project, go through the project discovery, which AI tools we used, from the idea to defining like the whole product, the brand, etc. The system design, like when we have the idea, like can AI help us to say, well, this is your design, this is your architecture, these are your backlog stories, etc. Basically, how we implemented all the product, like using AI to create this DevOps pipeline and basically templates for deployments and infrastructure, using AI to create unit tests, and we have the small demo of the whole product that we created, and basically we have at some conclusion, like through all the phases, like does it help or not? So at the first thing, basically I already described that basically goal for our whole project was to see does it actually work? So our main questions are: can it actually help in all phases? Try to see which tools are suitable for each phase. Like, what are the benefits using AI? What are the drawbacks? Potential pitfalls, like if you can like spend a lot of time investing and have basically no result. What is in the practice? How is it effective? And future considerations like, will it help, not help? What is the future of the AI with the whole development lifecycle? Basically, our main focus and what took us most of the time was actually what is our idea and what we would build. Just a second, I forgot to mention that Knezevic, Gjorgji, Grgovski, my colleagues, and Nusmir are basically working with me, and they are here also to help me if I forget something. And if you have some question while I'm talking, please interrupt, or if I'm kind of telling something that Imer already said, because some things are overlapping with their topic, so please say this is boring, I already heard it, please continue. So I'm fine with it. So, and not to forget to mention, we have the help also of our colleague Elmar, who's helping us with mobile development when AI got stuck. So yeah. Basically, the first question was like, what is there on the market? What can we use? Like, I guess everyone knows 1, 2, or 3 tools. Like, everybody knows that there's a ChatGPT, ChatGPT 4.3.5, some of them is Google Gemini. But then we started like, what are the tools for product discovery today in the market? And Google showed like, this is like small subset of the tools. Like I saw like hundreds of tools, and then it was like, what should we use actually? And our logic was, what are the most popular ones, and to pick random ones, because basically it's impossible in a short period of time to invest and read about all of these tools. So for product discovery, we mostly use ChatGPT, Google Gemini, ZIO. These 365 MVPs, I found it sounded interesting to me. I'll explain, like Pendo AI and AutoGPT, like the leverage of like ChatGPT. Basically, we started off brainstorming with AI tools, like using ChatGPT and Gemini. Like, hey, can you give me some idea about some application that we could work? Basically, my main focus and idea came from these three people that we create something about smart home IoT application. We didn't have idea what actually we can do, and basically we asked Gemini, hey, give me some idea about smart home IoT. So it was good. You can do something in smart kitchen, law, cleaning, something, and then based on our own experiences and knowing what time would actually take for each of these, like having the hardware, creating it. It took basically, if we didn't have any experience in it, I think it would might get on the wrong path. But basically, exploring, we saw okay about temperature. Then Nusmir and Gjorgji, they have kids, so they said, yeah, something like you check your child's temperature. Sometimes they got fever and you don't know, so it would be really useful to have some device that you could track your kid's temperature on your own and to notify you, hey, you have a fever, go to the doctor or something. So we said, okay. And that was basically when we defined, like, okay, that would be our product. We will create a body temperature tracking device and the application that goes with it, so you can see it. You can track your history of your temperature, current temperature, and to have notification when it's above the thresholds you set. So first, basically, before we got to the idea, I was exploring this ZIO tool, which is kind of would be useful if we had time, like industry. If you have product discovery that takes about 6 months, year, because you could get the basic surveys, give it a Slack chat where you ask people what you think about this product, what can you do with this, basically some, and it has a plugins for the Chrome browser, for some other browsers. It can go to Reddit, basically a different source of like what you want to see. It can help you basically to parse and to tell you like 300 people really liked your application, 75 said it's a crap, and somebody never used it or whatever. But for the test, because we didn't have the information, we use other AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini. I was telling it, hey, give me some test data for the ZIO. I parsed it, created the CSV files, posted in it just to see like how it works, will it be good, and it actually just gave me like the sentiment of the application. But if we had more time and investing probably a few months in a product real discovery, I think it would be helpful. But as I said, it was a short period of our product discovery just to see what's out there on the market. So I cannot have accurate data. Then we actually tried to ask, when we define that, we asked AI tools like what is currently in the market and what are the downsides of the market, what we can explore. And problem with AI tools versus Googling, it is that LLM has basically pretty old data. So if there's something new on the market, it is clueless. So if you compare these two, only one application is now like same as what Google response was, and AI tool, it was Gemini's response. So that's the downside of the AIs when you're trying to see. Then we tried AutoGPT, which actually can go to internet, research, see what can do, but there is no free version. So I think it's built up on the OpenAI. Just the leverage, you need to install it. It's written in Python, so you get the code, you compile it, and we were struggling actually to deploy it and download because there is instruction on their documentation that it works in Windows, everything. Then I was struggling for a few days to install it, and then read somewhere, okay, but it works only with Linux. So on the WSL, when I installed it, it was working. The other thing, problem with AutoGPT was basically I gave it 5 USDs on the OpenAI account. I tried to see, okay, go to the internet, find me the applications that are available, check and see what people are telling about it. It says, okay, started running. I got the exception. It was some weird exception, but it was still running. And after a few minutes, I killed the query. I went to my OpenAI account, and almost 3 USDs were gone. So I didn't get my answer, and it killed my tokens. So that's a problem with AI, like that's open source, like OpenAI, that it is on a GitHub, everybody's pushing code, so probably somebody pushed some bug while I was downloading. So that was kind of my experience with AutoGPT. Basically, so, and after all these things, when we decided what we were going to do, etc., but it's kind of, we got to the conclusion, it is good to use AI as a brainstorm. Like if you need the idea to chat with it, if you don't have a friend or whatever, hey, tell me what I can do. Is it good to explore more? What's on the market? Downside is also you need to be really careful with the prompts or tokens expire off your tokens. So basically, it's worth investing time to invest time to learn using prompts. Basically, prompt engineering is nowadays, I think, same as you learn a new technology. Like I don't know, code in .NET, learn code in .NET. Now we would need to learn prompts in AI. So because just without precise prompts, you can get as an image set, you can get hundreds of different. So that's basically, and the problem is also, like as I said, outdated information. But the good thing is you can get faster response than Googling a lot of stuff. Like you will need like hours to find a portal, where to read, and AI give you a response out of the box like in a minute. So that's basically what we continue. I don't know if you guys have something to add.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that you've seen so many of those AI tools here. You're showing them. Most of those are not AI tools. A lot of things that is being advertised as AI tools, they are not. They might be expert systems. They might be just normal search engines or under search engines. But a lot of those things are not AI tools. And at this point, that's still the current state of.
Yeah, also one thing, the one thing I noticed also is even if they are advertising themselves as an AI tool, they are just a kind of wrap around ChatGPT. Like you said, I need this, and they write pre-prompt ChatGPT and they return the response. And they mostly are expensive. Basically, you could do it yourself, just having a query to ChatGPT, but basically somebody invested some time, created a new product, and created a fancy UI where you are putting your prompts, and it just basically forwards prompt to other AI. Most of these. My experience as reading and looking at the responses. So when we finally define this, what's going to be our we need a temperature device, application, like how we're going to build it, what we actually need. So we, based on our experience, we actually knew, but we tried like with the AI, what it would tell us, like to write diagrams to help us with the whole design of hardware, software, all these things. So also we were mostly using ChatGPT, AutoGPT, Gemini, and this 365 MVPs. I'll show this is also a wrapper. ChatGPT, but gives a pretty decent like MVP of your application. What you like if we look at the prompt, we tell this is Gemini's response. We need basic architecture of the system that tracks the body temperature, where I need to have a hardware device that basically checks my temperature and pushes it to some server. And I need a mobile application that I will track current temperature and history of the device. So it looks pretty rough, these diagrams, but I was discussing something with Deni, and basically you can get in the better view maybe to export it and give me like these diagrams in Mermaid and post it to some other application and basically get better design and all the graphs. But this was a basic I just took from Gemini, and basically it was decent. What actually it knew that we needed a BLE communication for reading temperature device, that we need HTTP request to push to the server and to read. So it kind of was these. So and then I use this 365 MVP. Basically, I told him I have an idea for the application, what I need to do, and it gave a really good result of the features, like user stories I need to do, what is an MVP of the application, like the timeline, also tools that probably we would need to build the application. So it's a good start if you don't know what you're building. And it's also speed up the initial, when you need stories, your whole backlog, everything. It gave a pretty decent response, so you have a good start when you need. Unfortunately, we didn't through all these like technologies. We didn't came up to one that Imre was showing for the stories. So we were combining this tool with Gemini, and actually it sped up really like writing stories per my experience working every day to day, writing stories your own or using AI. Just I need a story for this to have it copy pasted to Azure to have the backlog, and basically what I would need like 5 days, I spent maybe a day just to have it, so kind of increase the time needed to write stories, acceptance criteria, all the details in the story, and even some simple tests for these stories. But you really need to be careful with prompts. When I was actually, this was the same conversation I had with Gemini. I said I was writing the stories. I need technical user stories for building the UI of the application. I need a technical user story for hardware, etc. Once I forgot to tell, I need technical user story. It says, now give me a story for the mobile application. And it gave me this, like the Fever Guardian protagonist setting problem solution. Basically, it gave me a story, like a little Red Riding Hood. So you read, and good thing it was a Gemini Advanced I used. The good thing about Gemini Advanced is you are not actually paying as you go, but I think they have a monthly a subscription. it's not that cheap, but otherwise it would aid my tokens, these strong queries, and I didn't get any use. And as I said, we pretty much created a backlog really fast in comparison to everyday like work where you need to invest time to write every story, write user acceptance, think about them, but probably the tool that Timur was showing is faster than using these ChatGPT. I don't know if anyone had questions regarding something. Okay.
I have a question. These stories.
This
No, the list of the stories. You said you generated this quickly, so all of these were generated.
basically they were generating. I was telling to Gemini and ChatGPT, I need a user story for Azure DevOps for this, and it generated text acceptance criteria. I was just copy pasting it to Azure DevOps.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the question. Like, was it you just kind of prompted the LLM to figure out requirements, or they were your requirements, and you
Basically my requirements, but the short ones. I didn't have like a huge like text, and it built up a pretty decent like functional user stories that you would need to think and write yourself like spend.
We also did discover that when you put a brief requirement, LLM sometimes can think of things that you didn't think of. It gives you sometimes very good extra requirement that you wouldn't even think or consider, but it suggests them.
Yeah.
So yeah, very good use case for LLMs.
Yeah, because I generally use IPA
Yeah.
work, but I kind of mostly use it to kind of just speed up my work, not really to ask it to give me. That's why I was asking, not really to kind of give me the requirements, but more like I don't want to bother with proper grammar and explaining all the nuances of the story. I just kind of write quick notes and then ask the client, can you expand this? Can you just format this nicely, explain every detail? And then it becomes like a longer and kind of more.
That's pretty much what we did too.
Do you also get it? Yeah, but basically, we were just trying to see like how smart it is. What can it do? Like try different things. So it was pretty decent. So we also wanted to, while we were like designing, have the backlog to have like design to have like also slide to give us some brand. We want to have this. Give me. We are building this. What would you give us? Well, the name, the story behind. Give us the logo. And it actually was really smart. I read the concept and I was like, nice. And the wording what it gave, it was really pretty good. So and we chose actually the second image to be a logo of the template application for mobile. It was also useful when we needed different sizes of the image. I asked like the ChatGPT and Gemini to give me resized image. They actually said, here is the image, but there is no response. And that was actually, as we are talking about the temperature, we kept the basic temperature. We were not playing with the temperature, but actually it says, yes, I can resize the image. Here is your image size, and just give me the text about sizes, no images. And then I asked, can you really give me an image? No, I cannot. Like I can give you a Python script to resize. Yeah, and that was a good thing. Give me the Python script, and it was basically working out of the box. But it was giving me like there is an image. Yeah, I don't see even a link to download it from somewhere. It says, hey, it's there. So it still tries to satisfy you without even, it can never say, hey, I cannot do it. I never experienced actually that AI told me, no, I cannot do it. It's always, yes, of course, I can do it. So yeah, looking at the phase of design, it has a quick way of defining architecture and design, but you actually need to have some experience behind because it can lead you to really different paths or give you something in the architecture actually that you won't need in your application, basically. To give you like we have basic hardware device, mobile device, and the server. It could let us to build, I don't know, an airplane. Yeah, also we need basically as a previous stage, prompts, experience with prompts is needed, not needed, but it's actually encouraging because you can get also a lot of prompts spent without getting the proper results. It's good to define your MVP of your application and have a timeline, like as I showed on this MVP 365 MVP tool, where it gave me a pretty decent, like this is the MVP, what you need to have your application. This is some estimated timeline you would need. These are crucial user stories, so you can get the idea of the project before, like, having some giving some deadlines or whatever before you even start looking deep in your application. And as we said, basically the previous experiences are mostly needed. Yeah. Now that when we define actual our product, that we need a hardware device, that we need to actually have all the drivers on the hardware device, that we need the API, upload all the data, and have a mobile application. We said, okay, how we build? So, and again, we mostly use the ChatGPT and Gemini to ask for the hardware, and they had some difficulties. Ivan can explain.
Okay, so I was the one doing the actual hardware build and programming, and I definitely tried to rely on AI tools, mostly ChatGPT and Gemini. They were the easiest and fastest to use. And I can happily report that they suck when it comes to that. So we don't have to worry about Terminators, not yet. The second thing that I had to get used to really fast when it comes to AI, to those tools, is they will look in the eyes and they will lie to you. So easily, so firmly that you will believe them. They will give you math proof of their lies. They will, because that's how they are created. That's what they do. They guess. They don't know, they guess. Now, in a lot of cases, their guesses are right, and that's gonna get better and better. In a lot of cases, when it comes to electronics, that guess is bad. That basically because of the training data we have. When it comes to programming, a lot of code, a lot of really good quality code is online. It's on repositories, it's in the forums, it's in the all over the place. It can be understood. Programming is just another language. When it comes to electronics, a lot of stuff is on schematics. And a lot of that stuff is simply graphics that AI are not quite well versed at understanding yet. They can understand it, just not quite well, not yet. So that's why using AIs to actually do hardware builds turn out to be a little bit, I would even say, dangerous. In some cases, it perfectly gives the schematic and how to connect everything, and then it makes you connect something to the wrong controller port, and you would burn your device when you connect it on the terminal, or it wouldn't work. So that's the global experience when it comes to building hardware. Building firmware for those devices, on the other hand, much better. Firmware is usually extremely short. It's not like a big program like we used to have here with hundreds of classes, thousands of classes, several 10, 20, 50 projects. Hardware is usually limited in memory. And sometimes for these devices, 4 kilobytes. That's what you get. 4 kilobytes of memory that you can use. 4,000 bytes in all. Programming those, yes, it can help a lot. I needed something to flip a bit in C++. That's what the programming language used. It gives me a function that's extremely efficient at flipping the bits, memory efficient. I needed a way to encode the serial number of the sensor so that I can send it using BLE to the destination. Not a problem. Encoding, BLE, sending code, everything done. And it all, I would say it works 100% of the cases, but it gets you there and it gets you there really fast. So yes, I use these tools. Result, good at coding, not perfect. Wrote much of the firmware code. It even formats it nicely. Nice function names, nice code separation, nice variable names, everything. Great. Much better than I do myself. Setting up and programming firmware, yeah, excellent. However, electronic development, as I said, no terminators yet. Okay, so that was a hardware programming. Okay, that's not my part. So, any questions on this?
One question, you said it generates electronic schematics. Sometimes
That will give you a generated schematic
or something.
It's in text. It basically say
That
here are the stuff. Connect this side of this diode to this port. Connect this side to this. Connect this side to this. So you have to take the text and then try to trace it, figure it out, which is another a little bit awkward than before. One thing that I also used it is because this is, I wanted to see if I didn't know a lot about electronics, if I didn't know about this stuff, like, okay, I need a temperature sensor for this. Which sensor? Where is it? What is it? And it gives me a couple of very good suggestions, which are 2 years old or so, but still good, still interesting. Standard electronics doesn't advance all that much at that level. And right now, I'm very happy with ChatGPT and Gemini both. They are both equally there. When it comes to researching the hardware devices, so anything that can be pulled from PDF files, like and every single electronic chip, every single electronic component will have a PDF file called datasheet. Anything, if you need it from there, it's going to give you result right away much faster than you search. What is the input voltage for this sensor? 2.8 to 5.5 volts. Excellent. I don't have to look at 130-page PDF document to find that. Extremely useful. Extremely useful at writing code, but still actual schematics on you. Anything else?
So I can't actually understand schematics. Give it the picture.
Yeah, you can understand schematics.
I can understand what's this, for example. But you give
I
it-
haven't tried that. And that would be difficult because you have a schematic of an electronic. What it is depends on the programming inside. That is often the case.
So, but if you're building a PLC, then okay, can you tell it's a PLC? It doesn't.
Yes, it
understand what the users.
I haven't tried that. I haven't tried going from schematic to the understanding. I just try to get, okay, this is what I need. How do I build it? And it does give suggestions, and some suggestions, it would quite literally burn my processor or make a short circuit on the USB port or something. In many cases, it is accurate. It is correct in a lot of cases, and that's the problem. It's so often accurate, and we learned by using Google and reading all of those things, we learn to believe what we get from the computers, from the search engines. Get something from the Google, then get something from the factory, from wherever, we believe it. ChatGPT will not, and Gemini will not tell you, I think, or it could be something like that. No, it's going to be so 100% sure that you can power 5 volts device with 2.8 volts. That it's really, I just wanted to try this. Let's go sure.
Until you ask it, I'm sure. Then jaded.
Actually, what? Or that can't be right. And it changes the mind, yeah. And you can keep doing that.
You try to please.
Keep going with that, doing that. And that's how actually prompt injection attacks work, by the way. So that's that. Thanks.
And then actually, we were exploring building the whole application, like building the mobile app. We acted like we actually don't know anything about the mobile device development, anything. And I was like, I need to create a mobile app in Visual Studio. Can you give me the instructions? I first thought, can you give me the whole application, build it, give me, I get the zip. No, I cannot do it, but I can guide you through the steps. And actually it was like, go download a package for Visual Studio, create new MAUI application, all these things, download the all the packages, plugins, and it was like, oh, this works nice. And I was following steps, each one by one, doing things. Okay, give me the, and now I need the method to show the temperature on the screen. I need this, I need that. And then actually, when I got the first problem, it got stuck. It says now you have this. I needed to gain permission for the Bluetooth of my mobile phone, and it was getting the error. I said, this method, I don't have the Bluetooth rights. Can you fix it? Oh, yes. And then it steps. Please go in your example of your application, have these permissions. I said, yes, I have it. I already did it. You told me before. Okay, then you don't have the latest package. I have the latest package. Okay, use this method. And then he started inventing methods with overloads that actually do not exist. I don't know if anyone else has experience with this, but it always tries to please you and you get stuck. You cannot go out of loop. And then the only thing you can do is go old ways. Go to Stack Overflow, find your solution. I need to override this method. I need to override the whole class, have the method implemented, and then now it's working. And then you can give me the next steps. I was trying with actually Gemini on the browser. I installed, even there is a Gemini extension now for Visual Studio Code. It was also getting in loops when it got the problem. It was like, you need to do this. And I was like, you're integrated in this IDE. Please read the error from the output. And oh, I see the error. Here is your recommendation. And it returned everything from scratch from the like, how? You already told me and it's not actually working. So it tends to stuck in the loops. We also were exploring different things for coding, like Codadium extension for Visual Studio. I just was looking what it is. It's similar to GitHub Copilot. It kind of when you're typing a code, it's like IntelliSense and propose what's the next, and it's kind of useful. And it was mostly useful for me when I wanted to show like some data before I call the API, just to see if it's how it's looking on the UI. Like I tried one line on the add into list, and it offered me like 50 other lines. Like, yes, I need this. Thank you. Like, it actually saved like half an hour of typing of the code. Yeah, I know who used the GitHub Copilot. It was similar, but Codeium is when you need something more complex, it opens a chat where you can write the class, and then there's extension insert into my project, and it creates. It's kind of useful. It's not perfect, but it saves some time. Basically, you still need to know how to code because it will end up in the loops, and you will not ever get out of them. But it saves a lot of time, like especially of these basic stuff like writing for each loops, adding things to lists, connecting to HTTP, etc. If out of box, like it's suggesting that you are actually working on the HTTP, but it overloads the authentication, what you need, like because I define bearer token, it assumed next line, okay, you want to add HTTP authorization bearer token. Yes, that's what I need. So it's kind of useful. We also, when building the APIs, we tried also tab 9 extension. It's similar, but I see it as a more powerful than this Codeium. It actually has the also extension for Visual Studio. It works. They all, I think, hooked up on this thing, same thing as in concepts on Visual Studio. And on the right click of each method, it explains what it does. It can write you documentation. It can, I don't know, write you tests for that method, etc. So they were kind of really useful about building APIs. We took code mostly one-to-one out of box what they proposed. And some things you needed to fix code because it doesn't know the whole application, but it saved time. Like if we needed like 6 hours to build it, we spent 3 to build with all these extensions for Visual Studio. Also, here is basically how it's this was Gemini, how we generated the project structure for APIs out of box when we were basically designed it and did it, and it was kind of we used the same structure in API what it suggested and created pretty decent API, only investing a few hours of development. So if we look at the whole product implementation, we see, like, if we check what Ivan was saying about the hardware, without previous knowledge that Ivan had, we would be stuck and probably we would burn a lot of chips and the microprocessors because it was giving the wrong voltage for everything. So it's still not that good. It was good for the firmware programming. It was good when we were creating the all the solutions that I've shown for the mobile app. It was good to give you the pretty nice structure of the project and to create it from scratch. And it was pretty good at following solid principles for the API. It wasn't like just giving a procedural coding. It gave pretty nice structure, as I showed on the image before. But the tendency of the AI plugins and the AI tools as well is that they want to please you. So they were giving the unexisting methods overloads, etc. So you spend a lot of time trying to tell it, please don't lie to me. Give me something I want, and it gets stuck in the loop. I know probably all of you have similar experiences. And yeah.
So when we're comparing these tools, so we use multiple tools.
Okay.
Last year we had Copilot versus Nusmir, and Copilot was a clear winner, right? So
Here, basically, tab 9 is a really good. I think comparing to Copilot, only the pricing should be considered. I think it's more expensive now than the GitHub Copilot. So we would need to see like corporate price for each, what is most like affordable one that's used, but it gives a pretty good results comparing to GitHub Copilot. So I don't know which one is cheaper. I can't remember now the pricing one or the other. Codeium is good. It has a free for I think personal usage or for one user, of which I used, and it's good. It helped actually. It's like you having intelligence that give you a whole method. Like
By the way, GitHub is cheaper than mine.
yeah, that's why when we were this.
And was 40, was double.
For the basically DevOps pipeline infrastructure and deployment, actually Nusmir is here on the chat, but I can explain. Actually, basically we were using he decided to create the Terraform pipelines just out of box and acted like never seen Terraforms, and basically used prompts like for the building Terraform scripts, like I need this, and it actually created a good Terraform script that we didn't need actually a lot of time to change. There were a few things to change because it was inaccurate and wanted to build really expensive infrastructure, but with a few like tweaks in the script, it generated pretty good infrastructure itself. So we need I need to be careful with using AI for building your infrastructure, because you might end up spending a lot of money on your infrastructure because it tends to build you the perfect environment for you, even if you don't need it. Like it was taking like the first month until we basically it spent $150 just for a few weeks that we had. That was a test that we had, and we needed to wait like 7 days just to change our infrastructure to use it again, because we were not also careful. We just took it as granted as it.
Did you try asking it to create something like create infrastructure that costs less than?
What's part of the prompt? If you check the prompt, it's saying basic SKU, SKU1, S1, SKU level. So it was, but if you don't specify for every single resource, if you don't specify that you want it to be cheap, some of the resource will be like it did, and there is others that you didn't specify. It's going to get crazy.
I'm not sure if it would work because it doesn't know current price. If you say I want it cheap, so
yeah,
because it LLM, it's not current.
But for experience, that's a problem with users as well. It doesn't have to be AI. They just generate resources and then
people.
So-
Did you try? Is this Sijah? Yes. Yeah. Did you try a Copilot? Like just, I know it can generate maybe Terraform script, but give suggestions because they have their own Copilot.
I don't think we. I mean, I've used Azure AI to build up this auto GPT on it, but we didn't use it for generating. And basically, also for the building unit test, as I was saying, same as coding, we tried GitHub Copilot, Tab9, Codeium, and they all got pretty nice results. Basically, when you go to the method and generate me unit tests for this, it covers it pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't cover everything because it doesn't know all the business logic of the application, but technically it generates a good coverage of your tests. I mean, even some edge cases that you would never think of, because it probably looks at the this cyclic complexity of the method and takes all the paths that it can create and creates that unit test. So it's pretty good when you have in your pull request, like you need to cover 80%, you covered 67. So using AI can help you achieve this 80 or 90% coverage of it. So this is actually how Tab9 generating tests would really look like. You have above the method plugin, this is the result. Like,
How good is it that reusing the code, like existing code? You know what I mean? If you have some, I don't know, structure built around the tests, you know, how good is it reusing that instead of reinventing everything, writing that whole class as a standalone, you know, as nothing else exists in your code?
I didn't actually, because we were making an application from scratch and we were building, so I didn't try it on already existing unit tests, but probably since it's plugins for the Visual Studio, it will know
There is a
structure. Maybe you
Actually, here the result was a bit different initially. It was giving you all the test cases. It was producing the code for all different test cases. And then you have to embed inside your tests in your projects. But at some point, I was asking to generate a whole class for me. And then it was remembering my previous prompt. And that's why it was generating afterwards the whole class with all the test cases. But initially generating separate.
I do have a thought about this one, because when you get a code that's generated like this, and you want to regenerate, you can do regenerate. Sometimes you have you can store your prompts, and then anytime you have a change, just change your prompt and have it regenerate. Right, so you don't. I feel like we don't need to care that much about code reusability, right? Because you're not spending time writing that code,
And it leads to a bad product.
but not necessarily, right? How does codification impact your end product?
Maintenance.
But you're not going to be maintaining it. AI is going to be maintaining it, right? So you might be spending a bit more time. Just regenerating things and then a bit more tokens, but if you can just regenerate it and have a repeating process that's going to regenerate the code for you, it's similar with microservices. Well, when you're building some isolated unit, then what you want to do is be able to just have that so small that you can ditch it and rewrite it quickly. So this thing would allow you to do that, right? So today you have a C# service, tomorrow you can have a Python service that does the same thing, same interface, same everything. Some additional requirements might be covered in original service.
For me personally, as long as I'm involved in the development, I care about everything that I generally care. It doesn't mean which tool I use, I care about codification. If I'm not about to care, then, you know, let me handle everything. You know, for me, it's black box. I don't want to take that responsibility.
No,
If it's my responsibility, I wanted to write quickly.
No, I agree somewhat, right? It's really hard to let go. But I think we need to start changing our mindset maybe a bit. Not altogether, but a bit towards something like this, right? If it's easy and if it's quick and if it works, then the maintainability bit might not be the most important thing, right? If you can get out with the new version to the market in 30 minutes, and it will take you by that maintainability to do it manually, it take 4 hours, then maybe better go with this route.
You know how I see it. Like same as previously you had a C development, you needed to write your own loop or search algorithm, whatever. Then you switch to .NET. In .NET out of box, you had the ordering by something. Then the link came. Then you had IntelliSense in Visual Studio, which help you. I don't need to know read documentation about this DLL. It gives me like what are the capabilities. This is like the extension of all these things, like to speed things up. But I don't think it can still replace people and code for them. Just the different view, like about like switching perspective from technicalities to actually implementing a product. That's how I see it. And this is just an example how Codeium actually for generating tests. It's similar. It's just that right click on Visual Studio and speak to the method you can generate your test. And it gave it basically similar. It generated in external chat on Visual Studio, but you can copy code or have it in the new file created. So it's
How does it know which type of mock library?
I think it guesses. I don't know.
Has a preference?
Probably it has preference how it learned what is the most used one.
You didn't tell it, right?
I didn't tell it. I just generate text.
So it is, so
And
which you use,
I think it's used more.
oh. Does it know the story about?
Yeah. Actually,
I personally, I know a lot of people don't.
me too. Actually, that's what I said previously. Code coverage doesn't mean it tested your application. Just as I said, it went through all the lines of code, see the like cyclic complexity, went in all the lines, have a test. But is it meaningful, and is the data proper for your like your I don't know, you have code that can for kids up to 15 years, it can in the data it will age 60, it will put, it doesn't care actually. So it's just that you don't have a bug in your code structure. That's why the integration tests are there to test actually.
Generally, the same time, yes, it's just here about the people. I think what this, we generally. And we actually, technically boring stuff. We do the more.
You can do two ways, right? The first, you generate a code that's going to be up. And then generate that. Then later you can regenerate one of them and validate that all unit tests don't pass. And you can generate additional unit tests. That's not a problem. And also you can regenerate tests if you want. But here you can change.
Maybe I mean. It sounds interesting.
You guys have heard of it?
Yeah. Yeah, we have the examples and all these things, even the prompts that we used on while we were investigating a product. I didn't put everything on the presentation, so if anyone has questions, I can share my findings and documentation. Okay. Yes. Basically, we just try to see how it will work. Actually, does it actually work? Just to see what is the benefit of it is will it cover. And Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Generating unit tests using these tools, you have to have a bug-free method that you are generating unit tests for, so that the unit tests will make sure that the unit tests are bug-free. If you have a bug on the method, unit tests will think that that was what you intended, what you wanted,
Yes.
and they will make sure that the unit tests pass with that bug and not figure out that. So the unit tests there are, as I said, bug-free methods and bug-free classes, and only in order so that you have a very high unit test coverage. Now, if you have that, if you have bug-free methods, classes, and you cover them, and then you need to modify that, that's a good use case. So, for example, if I was using this in work, if I needed to do some kind of refactoring of a class, of a method, I could use AI to write the whole coverage of the class as it is, and then use those unit tests to confirm that my refactoring didn't break anything, didn't change anything, to be more precise, didn't fix any bugs, didn't add any new bugs. It is exactly as it is. That's the purpose of refactoring. So that's the use case for these things for unit tests.
Yes.
I think what you said is at least in our opinion, not that relevant, right? Because for me, it's much easier to understand what code does from the unit test rather than reading code and understanding every single if why it's there. But
Depending on the code.
Depending on the code, if the method is well named, if the test method is short, has a nice description, all of that, it's much easier to go through those methods one by one, understand what the test is, and then if it tests something that shouldn't be there,
Yeah,
then you just plug it and
yeah. So yeah, that's another use case where you can look at unit test and see if there is something strange inside of it. Yeah, but comments are not code. Who's gonna give you guarantee that the comment and the code match?
So then these tests are generated for pilot or.
Tab 9. I
Tab
don't-
9, and it was only looking at your implementation.
Yes,
You
yes.
tried giving it user story so that it can actually improve and maybe notice those.
Maybe we use the extended chat, but we use just the extension to Visual Studio generate user stories, and it gives out of box, it creates you a file with the tests. But I wasn't exploring. I don't know, Gjorgji, if there is an option for you to give it like what you want to test. I didn't.
You have a text box here. I guess you can do a prompt by pasting your functional requirements that generate the tests for that.
Yeah.
But currently we're using just the extension on Visual Studio, which is giving you on each method or on the class, it's giving you an option to generate
Yeah,
the
but
test.
then it doesn't know what the.
Yeah,
based on
is.
the-
With the requirements, it might get some additional idea.
It's based on the code.
And to actually show you the product, what we have, this is like the home hardware device that you heard story. This is a Bluetooth device, the Wi-Fi that pushes actually data of the of your temperature to the API. This other small thing, this is the first prototype, is the actual device that tracks the temperature and communicates with BLE with this home device. And Ivan just brought the upgraded 2.0 version, the smaller one of this device. So basically, I can show you now the application. I can show you a video so everyone can see, because I'm showing from the mobile phone. Just to see it here. What happened?
Got you.
Anyways, well, it's some shit.
Of course, someone made it.
It's shit, I'm shit.
Ah. There's no shit. This one?
Share again.
Yep.
Now you can see actually how it connects to the device. Okay. Basically, we didn't spend a lot of time in design of the whole application, the functionality that would move. Yeah. And this. What's that? This is good. Yeah. It actually has like pop-up notifications of the temperature, it vibrates. We now put it as actually it shows all the temperatures and it's normal, it has green line. This is actually the history of the temperature, how it looks like. Oh. Here as well, currently it's 25.1 because it's here in the room and it's showing actually the room temperature.
Really cold.
Yeah, that's why it's black. We put the black. If it's below 34 and above 40, but we put the black, the like inaccurate data because it's not body temperature.
That means bad.
If I touch it, let me check.
It's gonna take a little bit time to.
No, it's now 25.5. It's rising.
He's not dead yet.
How much time does that take?
Even what is the time to level up? I think it's.
It actually depends, but usually 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically we would
It
probably
depends
need to
on the
tweak
amount
to
of
show
contact.
temperature 5 minutes ago or something like.
No, actually, once it levels up, so then it tracks very accurately. It's just very slow at changing the temperature from 25 to 36, for
Yeah,
example.
just as if you were measuring it with the mercury.
Yeah, it will take you 4 or 5 minutes to get there. There are sensors, ChatGPT suggests that there are actually medical sensors that track much more accurately and much faster. And I also gonna need to pay for them, and I will need to charge them. This is something I had around the house. Prototype.
Anyways, we are at the end. Yeah, basically we have, if we now look at all the phases, basically, if we look the efficiency, basically it increased the efficiency. We were able to build all of this in like 2 months that we would need, especially with the application development, API development. It's really was faster for us to develop it. The AIs are good for the brainstorming and generating the ideas, but you need to still learn prompting, which is, I think, next technology that we will all need to learn if the AI lives. It's good for coding, but you need still to refine, and you're doomed if it's getting a deadlock, and still need a hands-on experience, especially with the hardware development and all the architecture, because it tends to lead you to the wrong paths.
and they can give you misleading information, as we all see in practice. So yeah, I think it is a future, but it still has some time until it eats us. Thank you.